Hey everybody, I am Keaton. This is Kid Catholic Season 6, Episode 1. It sounds crazy to say Season 6. I've been doing this for such a long time. I'm so grateful to keep doing it, and let's keep on going with a new video every single Tuesday. If you're new here, please click the red subscribe button down below and share this channel and video with your friends and family to make sure that they know about Kid Catholic. Now, today's topic is the Stations of the Cross, and the reason why I wanted to do this is because I recently gave a talk at Epiphany to the 3rd through 5th graders over there about the Stations of the Cross. Thank you guys so much for having me. So I really I thought it'd be a perfect video idea, especially during the season of Lent. If you want to book me to come speak, you can go to kidcatholic.com and go to the Contact Me page and email me from there, or email me straight up at kidcatholic1@gmail.com. So let's get into the video. So the Stations of the Cross are a devotion of 14 total stations, a detail by detail look at Jesus' passion. There are prayers that go along with each station. It's especially important during the season of Lent because Jesus died on Good Friday, which is near the end of Lent. So Lent is a preparation leading up to Jesus' death, and the stations are a devotion of Jesus' passion. A lot of churches do stations on every Friday throughout Lent because that is the day that Jesus died, and they reflect on Jesus' passion and look at each station individually, which is an absolutely incredible devotion because it allows us to reflect on Jesus' passion. But why do we need to? Why do we need to reflect on Jesus' passion? Why do we need to do the Stations of the Cross? Well, I'd say the biggest answer is to thank Jesus, to remember what Jesus did for us, because he died on that cross. That was a gruesome death, right? That was a gruesome passion, gruesome suffering. He endured all of that for every single one of us, for our sins, not his own. He had nothing to do with it. He doesn't sin, right? He did that solely for us, no other reason. And so the least we could do is do a devotion every Friday during a 40-day period throughout the year. The stations are important all year round, but they are especially important during the season of Lent. We need to thank Jesus for what he did for us, because imagine if it were only you on the planet. If it were only you, everybody else was gone, Jesus still would have done it. He still would have done it if it were only you, if it were only me, right? If it were only one of us, Jesus still would have endured that. And so the stations are a great way to say thank you, to be reminded of his passion, to never forget what he did for us, the great pain that he did for us, to never, ever forget it. And it wasn't like it was easy for him, right? When Jesus was here on earth, he was fully human and he was fully divine, right? We hear some of the human side of him in the Bible when he says, "Let it be done unto me according to your will, but let this cup pass from me," in the Garden of Gethsemane before his suffering, right? He asks God the Father to let this cup be passed from him. He doesn't want to endure it because the God side of him knows what's about to happen. He predicted the future. He knows what is going to happen, right? He knows what he's about to endure, but the human side of him is scared and afraid and doesn't want to. The human side of all of us would be, right? Imagine if God the Father told you that you had to go and suffer the scourging at the pillar, crown of thorns, the crucifixion, one of the worst death a human can ever imagine, to save just one person. It'd be hard, right? So the human side of Jesus didn't want to, but the God side of him knew that he had to, right? We also see some of the human side of Jesus when he falls 3 times. After Jesus falls 3 times, we see the human side of him because the cross was physically heavy. But when he fell 3 times, somebody came and helped him. That was Simon. Simon came and helped Jesus physically carry his cross, right? And there was another one, Veronica, came and wiped the face of Jesus, right? When he was enduring his passion, she came and wiped the face. Veronica and Simon, who were both, we had never read of either of them in the Bible before, right? But they came and assisted Jesus and helped Jesus. And that can be a great way to look at it for our lives, right? When we hear that when we're praying at the Stations of the Cross, and we hear those stories during the Stations of the Cross, we can think about how we all have crosses to endure, right? Every single one of us has a cross to endure of our own. And we can't do it alone. We can't endure our own cross, right? Not an actual physical cross, but a spiritual one. That's there, right? Because life is going to be tough, and we are going to have to carry crosses. And we can't do it on our own. Jesus couldn't even do it on his own, right? The fully human side of him couldn't do it, right? He couldn't do it by himself. And so Simon and Veronica had to come and help him and support him. Just like how we need to support each other. The saints before us have completed the ultimate goal of getting to heaven. The martyrs, the saints, they have been able to do that, right? And they couldn't do it alone. They needed help from friends, from family, right? We need that help too. We need to help each other with each other's crosses, whatever it may be. Just like how Simon and Veronica helped Jesus with his cross. So that can be a great way. You know, when we're doing the Stations of the Cross, we can think about that. How Simon and Veronica helping Jesus can relate to our own lives. But what else the Stations of the Cross can do is be a motivator. I talked about how Lent can be a motivator in general to bring us closer to Jesus, how fasting can be a motivator in general, right? But the Stations of the Cross can also be a motivator because we see detail by detail what Jesus did for us, right? We see what Jesus did for us, what he endured for us, each of us individually. And so knowing that he did that for us, knowing what he went through for us can motivate us to become closer to him. Can help us, strengthen us in our fasting, in our abstaining, right? It can be a big motivator, a big help. The Stations of the Cross can motivate us to get closer to Jesus. That's how great of a devotion it is. Now, it happened a long time ago. It happened 2,000 years ago, right? So while we do know that it happened, it can seem sort of far away. While we do know that it happened, it can seem like sort of just a story out of a book. But if you haven't seen already, you need to go and check out my Holy Land vlog. I was lucky enough to go to the Holy Land in December, and there's an actual physical Via Dolorosa, where you can walk the way of the cross, with these Stations of the Cross. The way Jesus walked up, leading to Calvary, where the rock that Jesus was crucified on is. There's an actual physical place there, right? And so, if you go and watch that vlog, you can look pictures online, places where actual pilgrims go. That can put it into a lot more realistic sense, right? A realistic sense of Jesus actually endured this. Jesus actually died for our sins, right? He actually went through that, and it can be put in a lot more realistic sense because, again, we know that it happened. But something like that can be hard to sort of imagine that it happened. It can be hard to sort of picture it, you know? But if you want to go watch my vlog from then or look up pictures online, or maybe if you're a kid watching this when you get older, go there yourself, it can help us to physically understand that. So while going to Israel and stuff like that can help us physically understand it, the Stations of the Cross can help us to understand it too, because it puts it detail by detail and a realistic sense devotion of what actually went on. Because Jesus is fully human, when we fall and scrape our knee, that's the same pain Jesus felt when he fell and scraped his knee. So through the Stations of the Cross, going through each individual station, seeing the pain that he endured, we can just picture that and know that it's not just a story, that it actually happened, that there are physical places marked of where everything happened. We can actually picture Jesus going through that. And the Stations of the Cross can be such a motivator for us. They're one of my favorite devotions because it's one of the only devotions that's devoted only to Jesus' passion, right? Only to Jesus' passion. Now, sometimes we can look at Lent as a joyful time because at the end of Lent there's Easter, right? And Easter we get to do whatever we've given up for the past 40 days. Like I'm giving up watching YouTube. Easter we can watch YouTube, right? And so it can seem like sort of the joyful time. Jesus is resurrected, everybody's happy. But that's not the reality. Before that comes Jesus' death, the Last Supper, Jesus' passion, the scourging out the pillar, the Garden of Gethsemane, where he gets turned in. A lot of gruesome, terrible, evil stuff happens before that. And so Lent is a time of preparation, preparing for Jesus' death. And there is no other devotion better to do that than the Stations of the Cross. The Stations of the Cross are so vitally important all year round, but especially during the time of Lent. They can motivate us to get us closer to Jesus and ultimately to simply say thank you, right? To say thank you for Jesus for enduring what he endured for us, because it was terrible, it was gruesome, it was awful, the worst death any human could ever have, and Jesus did it for us. In fact, if it were only for you, like I said, for you individually, for me individually, he did that for our sins, past and future, for our sins. It's absolutely incredible. And the Stations of the Cross are a way of thanking Jesus. They are a way of remembering Jesus. And they are a way of motivating ourselves to get closer to Jesus during the season of Lent. So now the D topic is done. Do y'all know what it's time for now? It's time for Now today's saint of the week is Saint Veronica. Since I talked about her earlier, she's a perfect saint for this topic. Now Saint Veronica actually is one of the most mysterious saints. Really the only thing we know about her, which isn't even in the Bible, is the story of her wiping the face of Jesus. Now what happened is Jesus was, and during his passion, he was carrying the cross on the way to Calvary, his face dripping with sweat and blood. When Veronica came up and offered him a cloth, he accepted it, and she wiped his face with it. Now his face was then imprinted on the cloth, which is absolutely incredible. That's really all we know about Veronica, is that she came and helped Jesus and wiped his face. We don't know when she was born, when she died. We have the location of where her house most likely was in Jerusalem, which I was lucky enough to be able to go and see. But that's really it. We don't know anything else about her. In fact, we don't even know if we have the original veil. We had the original veil at one point, but it could have been destroyed. Several copies were made. The Vatican has one right now, but whether it's the real one or not is unknown. But I wanted to talk especially about St. Veronica, about the moral of her story. What I mentioned earlier is we need help carrying our crosses. We can't do it by ourselves. And Simon and Veronica were able to go and help and support. But think about the bravery of Veronica. Alright, just picture the setting. Jesus is on his way to be killed. Others around him are spitting at him and cursing him and hating on him. Guards were everywhere, right? Anybody who came up to touch Jesus got shoved away, right? Veronica wanted to help. She wanted to help Jesus carry his cross. She knew that he needed help, and she offered it. She came up and wiped his face. Now just think about that, the bravery that takes. She could have been very easily killed or captured by one of the guards around her, or cursed at or spit on by other bystanders watching, right? Because it was a very unpopular opinion to support Jesus at the time. So unpopular that the incredible Saint Peter, the first pope, the rock that Jesus was to build his church on, wasn't even there for the passion. That's how scary it was. That's how scary the passion was. He wasn't even there. He had to go away. He had to run away. He ran away because he was so scared. And Jesus still forgave him, which is amazing. But that's how scary it was. But Veronica was there, and she wiped his face. She helped him. She did all that she could to help Jesus Christ, and it's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and we can learn from Veronica anytime we might have a friend or a family member, someone that we know is going through a rough time. Let's be like Veronica. Let's go and support that friend. Let's go and help that friend or family member with his or her cross. Just like Veronica did with Jesus. Even if it takes bravery, even if it's tough to do. It was tough for Veronica to do, but she still did it. So any time that might be going on, we can look to St. Veronica and pray through her for help. So thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out my website, kidcatholic.com. On there, I have every single one of my videos on there. You can read about me. I have photo galleries, some of the talks that I've given. You can go and see details about my speaking engagements on there, the recent talks that I've given. I actually have a video of one of the talks that I gave up, a talk that I gave at Marquette. I have the full video up there. If you want to go watch it, you can go to my website, kidcatholic.com. You can also contact me and buy your very own Kid Catholic t-shirt from there. Check out all 3 of my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The link to all 3 of those will be in the description and in the comments below. If you're not already, please click the red subscribe button down below and the bell next to it. That way you get notified when I come out with a new video every single Tuesday. Share this video with your friends and family. Make sure that they know about Kid Catholic. Get the message out there about Kid Catholic. Be sure to comment any saint or topic suggestions that you might have. Comment how's what you're giving up for Lent going. Are you doing well with it? Is it tough? Fasting, sacrificing, whatever you're doing. And if it is, just remember that it's for Jesus Christ. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This was Kid Catholic Season 6, Episode 1. I will see y'all next week, and hi, Brielle!